Happy Valentine's month, everybody. I'm the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to share with you some of my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from TV shows or even movies. Not everything is all lovey-dovey. Sometimes Valentine's Days deal with heartache and everything. So, some episodes will be romantic and lovey-dovey, while others will be very sad and heart-wrenching and stuff. But love is love. It doesn't always come with smiles and giggles and glee. So, I'm here today to talk to you about Cleopatra 2525 Season 2 episode Reality Check. So during this time in Season 2, the show has slightly changed a bit. How hairstyle has changed, and the show is about to transition from a 20-minute episode show until that of a 40-something minute episode. Why? Because Jack of All Trades was about to get canceled after 8 episodes in its second season. So its runtime was given to that of Cleopatra 2525. And so around this time, the show color palette started to change. It was a lot brighter. They've always used brightly colored stuff, but it was more dark and grungy and stuff like that. And so now everything's all bright and all this other stuff. This episode is very touching, very moving and emotional because it deals with Cleopatra almost reliving her past, but not really realizing it. See, Cleopatra was a stripper in the year 2001, and she had went through plastic surgery to make her boobs bigger, but something happened and she had to get put to sleep. And so she was put to sleep for a long time and woke up in the year 2525. And so she's having to adjust to life there, which, the humans have been forced to live underground. They're fighting a rebellion against the machines, very Matrix. Like I've already talked about this show in the past. Go watch that rundown review. And so her and the girls are in these type of reality simulator type booths. And so Mauser is testing it out, and they can't believe how lifelike it is. But then all of a sudden, when they get out, 2 Bailey agents come in and kill both of them, and Cleopatra is left alive. She screams, but then she wakes up in her old bedroom from back in the day. And next to her is her boyfriend, Johnny. Now, that's a New Zealand actor playing Johnny, but now he's an American actor because he's moved on over here. The grossest thing ever in this episode is when she steps on a slice of pizza. It's very gooey, it's very cheesy, and it makes me want to throw up every time I see it. It is disgusting, but I've never seen pizza that cheesy before. It is disgusting. And so she is flabbergasted and just completely shocked. She wants to know how in the world did she time travel and how is Johnny still alive and why isn't she in the year 2525? He tells her, you've been dreaming this whole time and you made everything up. Well, to us, the viewer, we're kind of just okay, what the heck is going on here? Is she still in the simulator or what? Well, it turns out Hal and Sarge, the other 2 ladies she was with, came out their simulator pods. And when they tried to get Cleopatra out hers, it was locked and there's some type of electrical force field around it. Mauser determines that who's ever in this other booth is controlling the entire thing and has Cleopatra hostage. So Hal and them, they are not gonna let this happen. So they make Mauser boot their pods into the one that's in Cleopatra and so they can be in that simulator as well. So when they're there, they've never been to the 21st century before. And everything's different. They don't know what cars are. They don't know why people are dressed the way they are and all this other stuff. So they start shooting at the police car and all kind of crap. And they both get arrested. But they fight their way out and then they put on the police uniforms and start driving in the car. It makes for some hilarious stuff. And so they're looking for Cleopatra. So with Cleopatra, Gianni is just all like, I want you to relive everything you wanted to do. I'm gonna get you that great stripping gig and everything. The talent scout's gonna be there. It's gonna be just like the first date we went on. All this other stuff. And so she is just loving this because she thinks it's real. She thinks she dreamt about living in the year 2525 and everything. She gets to have her boyfriend back. She has her life. Everything's going her way. And she's just thrilled until she's not. And he doesn't understand why she's sad. And she's all like, because, doing all this is what she always wanted, but it's not like she's saving a slave girl or trying to stop like an explosive from going off in the underworld or like, trying to like stop this warlord type person, all the action stuff that her team is always doing. And he tells her with a weird look on his face, well, whatever you want, just like, you can have it. But he won't let her know this is a simulator. So then all of a sudden the cop car shows up and it's Hal and it's like, Sarge. And so Cleopatra's kind of like, well, hold up, y'all are not a dream, so y'all must be real. So she realizing something weird is going on. Then all of a sudden, Johnny wants like, Sarge and Hal out of there. So he like, crank up like the machine and he boots them out. And so when they're back in the real world, Mauser is able to put them back in there. But no wait, I don't, yeah, Mauser's able to put them back in there and everything. But he said, they have to hurry and everything. So they go back. And so Cleopatra doesn't want to be nowhere near Johnny. And so he has all the civilian people like attack Sarge and Hal with like blasters and stuff. And Cleo is just getting angry and freaking out, want to know what the world is like, going on. And talking about the real Johnny would have never done all this. And you're hurting my friends and stuff. He tells her that, he is Johnny, her Johnny, that he's like for real in the flesh. But he tells her, when she fell asleep in the cryo thing and there was no way to get her out, he decided he wanted to be with her. So he had himself frozen. And so they could wake up in the same time era. Only problem is he woke up before her and was thawed out. And so she's all like, well, why didn't you come look for me? Why didn't you tell me who you were? And he tells her, you wouldn't understand. I'm just thinking to myself, why wouldn't she understand? I'm starting to think, I'm like, well, hold up. The dude who ran like, the simulator parts, I'm like, no, it can't be. So she makes him stop all this. And he does it because he loves her and he doesn't want to like, upset her. And so they all get out their pods and Mauser and all them have to help this man out his. It's the old man who ran the entire simulator thing. He woke up about 50 years before she did. And he's now an old man, which is why he felt that she would never love him. And that's why he made himself look younger in the past. She told him that didn't matter. She still would have loved him anyway because she just wants to be with him because he's the only part of, her life that seems normal and that of like the 21st century. But then something happens. He starts to like die and everything. And so Mauser, the scientist dude, he can't help him because apparently being in virtual reality for so long put too much strain on that man's heart. And he just dies and everything. And Cleo is just like beside herself. The man she loves is now dead. And because she made peace with that, when she got woke up, like, her life is over. But now her life came back. And so she's going to have a hard time dealing with all this. Now, sadly, because these are like episodic episodes, they don't really go into the next episode about what happened in this one. Sometimes they do. Like sometimes plot threads would linger on for other episodes, but for this one, for whatever reason, they just didn't want to, which is kind of quite a shame because it's kind of like, I'm surprised, Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert did that because back in the Hercules and Xena, they had more focused center episodes that would linger on and they would have callbacks to it and stuff. And so for some reason they just didn't do that with this series or a Jack of all trades. But this was a very emotional episode that was just so sad and heartbreaking. Now wasn't that romantic? Or depressing, depending on what kind of video I just talked about. Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And bye.